Welcome back to NTV News First Edition. Hers is a story that made international headlines. Caitlyn Jenner's transition from Bruce Jenner has created a new conversation about transgender rights. Well, joining me now is one of this province's most vocal transgender women, Jennifer McCreath. Ms. McCreath, thanks so much for coming in this evening. So what impact will the media frenzy surrounding Caitlyn Jenner have on the transgender community here?
I'm really hoping, and we've had a great week, lots of different exposures and opinions to trans issues. A lot of people don't really know much about what the trans community is all about. Now everyone can at least say, I know of this, or I know someone. I guess the bad news might be the stereotypes that all trans people are rich, beautiful people from Hollywood, and that's certainly not the case. I'm excited that it opens the conversation, though.
Well, that kind of leads me to my next question. Caitlyn Jenner's Vanity Fair cover, as you said, quite beautiful. But is hers the typical transition? Is this, you know, what people have to look forward to? And does the cover send a positive message about the transgender community?
I think there's definitely a mixed message there. Obviously, Caitlyn has done an amazing job in a very quick amount of time with her transition, but there's a lot of resources, especially money resources in there that most trans people don't have easy access to, and for the most part, transition takes a long time, several years in fact, and some people may never get to the point that they want to get to.
Well, I know, I think in your case, you and I chatted earlier, the transition process was, what, about 7 years at least?
Yeah, I mean, some say it never ends. I mean, I'm still evolving to this day, and I've been on NTV talking trans issues for 7 years now, and I think, yeah, and the other issue is not all trans people are going to be gorgeous supermodels, especially at the age of 65. Now, it's amazing what they can do in Hollywood. In Newfoundland, I think I've done a pretty good job, I'd like to think, but that's a whole other conversation.
Now, it seems right now that most of the feedback from the Vanity Fair article or Caitlyn Jenner's transition has been positive, but has it all been positive?
I think we're seeing a lot of positivity for sure. There seems to be that small minority fringe, I don't know if you want to call them the religious right, or the people who seem to complain about anything to do with LGBT or T issues, saying some pretty bizarre things like the devil has gotten into her brain and things like that. But I think we've come far enough in society that there's only a few people out there, and I don't know, I don't think people are taking those voices as seriously as they may have even 30, 40 years ago.
Does the Caitlyn Jenner article help you in your plans for the transgender community in this province?
I think ultimately, any time you get a mainstream celebrity, any good news story, any diverse story adds to the puzzle. No two trans people are alike, and I think that's the main message, is we're all human beings, we're all very different, we're all going through transitions, that's the only real thing that's common. Then again, I mean, my other thing I'm really excited about is the athletic component. Caitlyn was an Olympic gold medalist, and sports is one industry where they still seem to be behind the times. Heck, there's only one out gay football player, and he got kicked out of the NFL. This sends a message that all people can be into athletics, and we should all be accepted into athletics. And for me, it's just carrying on with the activism tour. I'm going to be touring the province this summer, as I do every year, hitting little towns, talking trans issues, going to pride events, and just trying to keep trans issues as visible and fresh as possible.
Well, Jennifer McCreath, unfortunately, we've completely run out of time, but I certainly thank you for coming in.
Bang. Thank you for having me.
Three-time World Wrestling Champion Diamond Dallas Page is in St. John's for the Legend City Wrestling Super Show this weekend, and he's bringing a yoga mat along with his title belt. Diamond Dallas Page sat down with us today to talk about his foray into yoga and his DDP yoga workshop.
Well, I didn't become a wrestler until I was 35. My career didn't take off until I was 40. That was in 1996. 1997 and 98, I was on top of the world, living the dream at a whole different level. Then I blew my back out, and I had 3 of the top back specialists tell me I was done. I'm a guy who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. Now my name's attached to it. But back in the day, I was that guy who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. It took necessity. And what I did was I mixed the yoga with the rehab and the old school calisthenics. It's something I call dynamic resistance. And in less than 3 months, I was back in the ring. At 42, they said my wrestling career was over. At 43, I was a heavyweight champion of the world. So, man, I'm going to keep doing that.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down, come up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. There's 1.
I decided to heal my body, and it's helped heal a lot of people's bodies. And I'm going to be doing a workshop tomorrow or Saturday from 10:30 to 1:30, and I call it Inspiration Meets Perspiration. And it's really inspiring talk that I do into breaking down the workout. I spend a lot of personalized time with people there. I really get into breathing. I really get into the diamond dozen, break down the positions, and then we have a fun workout. And during my workouts, and this is for any level, like I literally have people who follow me. You know, I've had people walk in with canes, walking with walkers, and people come in like buffed out, like in amazing shape, because I can make it the easiest and the most challenging at the same time. And that's all through, you know, as I'm taking you through that.
Now just simply lower your knees, Tate. Perfect. She's still got perfect form here. Her tailbone is tucked in. Now she's gonna lower for a count of 3. Count it out. 3, 2, 1. Hold it there.
It ain't your mama's yoga. Check out your DDP yoga at the Remax Center, 10:30 to 1. Bang! Or else.
The LCW Super Show is taking place at the Remax Center on Saturday with a VIP meet and greet with Diamond Dallas Page kicking off that event at 5 o'clock. It's one of the oldest occupations, woodwork.